Hello, welcome everybody to the War Report. I just came back from skateboarding and I didn't hurt myself, so that is a positive in my book. And I am joined by a special guest because we're going to do predictions for NXT Halloween Havoc.
Yes.
My homie, J5.
What's up? I haven't done this show since I was filling in.
Yeah.
In between.
What was it, like 4 months ago?
No, it wasn't 4 months ago. It was a year ago. It was right before. I want to say it was like September-ish or something like that. Or was it? It was before you took on you and MJ took on the reins. I think it was actually before MJ took on the reins, and then you hopped on after. I don't even think I've guessed it on the show.
No, there's been a time where you guessed it before.
I can't remember.
I
filled in one time. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember which show it was, but it had Sean Spears on it. That's
Yes.
all I remember.
It was around the time me and Sean Spears were beefing.
The beef never dies, bro.
Yeah.
But this is a show where
you're skateboarding, Cyrus, and I know you. You're not the most durable guy on the face of the planet. I'll just say that much. What were you doing out there skateboarding?
Just for some background information, I've had 2 spinal surgeries, so that's where I'm at right now. Right now, I was just skating around because the last thing I wanted to do was bust my ass, come here and record and be mad that I fell. So I got the new board that came in not too long ago, and it's completely different from the penny board that I use currently, or I was using before. So I just wanted to get the feel of it again. And
I have a full length board for you. I need to send it to you. You ended up getting a skateboard before I could send this off to you, but I'm gonna send it to you.
What's gonna happen when you send that? I'm going to take the wheels and the trucks off the current board that I'm using, and I'm just gonna use it as a display.
Yeah,
and then I'm gonna use the one that you sent. Right now, I'm just trying to get back into the feel of it. It's been like 7 years since I skated, on an actual skateboard. So I'm just trying not to bust my ass.
Mid-20 skateboarder for real.
Yeah, I tried to do a manual, and I was just like, all right, let's cut it out.
Oh my God, no! Please don't. For everyone listening, I beg Cyrus every single day. We are heavy Tony Hawk players right now. I beg him every day to please not do it. I want to get in touch with his mother and tell her to stop him before he goes out to do this, because at the end of the day, you're needed on this show. You're needed in my life. You're needed in a lot of these listeners' lives. We want to make sure.
I'm not gonna die skateboarding.
All right, bro. I'm just saying, bro.
What's happening right now is that I'm just trying to get a feel for it. I'm just trying to get back into it. It has to do the test to CVS. That is the true test.
Oh my God. How far is CVS?
CVS, I would say, is like 7 blocks away. Not that far.
Okay. Does anyone look at you? Hey, look at that nigga on the
skateboard. When I went to the barber shop.
Oh, no.
When I went to my barber shop, and he was just like, oh shit, well, because I was still riding the smaller board, and he was just like, damn, you tall as shit, you riding this tiny thing? And he was just like, man, back in the day, that
oh man, hit you with one of those.
Yeah, he hit me with the back of the day. I used to be able to do a kickflip, and that was it. And you know what? I believed him.
It's so crazy that how the perception changed. Because when when I was younger, I don't want to give away my age too much, but that wouldn't have been the reaction you got. Before Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 came out, I was interested in it. Afterwards, I joined the boom just like everyone else in the early 2000s. It was looked down upon. So I mean, seeing people like yourself and a lot of different young African Americans attaching to this still, and even getting bigger during these times is makes me feel good, because again, you don't have to be like a certain thing, and you don't have to like a certain type of
your blackness is not being questioned just because you skateboard, and that's cool.
Yeah, so your blackness will be put into question if you get hurt. So
if I get hurt, then it's just like, damn, you kind of trash. Leave it to the white man.
Yep, absolutely. Leave it to Bucky Lasik, nigga. Like, don't fucking leave that shit to fucking Tyshawn Jones. You're not him, bro.
What's good? When I get my helmet and my knee pads, my protection, then I'm all in it.
Don't wear that. Well, here's the thing: if you wear that, they're for sure gonna call you a lame.
I don't give a shit. I went through 2 spinal surgeries. I don't give a fuck. But all right. With that said, let's get into In the Trenches. Last week, I said, AEW doesn't really get into the news a lot. A lot of publications kind of just like stray away from talking about AEW in like in a negative or like a negative light or reporting it.
Not even negative, just a constructive. Constructive.
So a lot of articles are just like what other wrestlers are saying and nothing like truly critical. But I scraped and got what I found interesting to come out of AEW this week. But we're just going to touch a little bit on NXT UK, where they filed a whole bunch of trademarks for some names. So I guess this means that they're going to like be kind of like on the indies less. Now there kind of isn't in indies currently, but I guess they're going to start. These NXT UK wrestlers are finally going to start getting their bag with their names being trademarked.
Who's the name? What were the names?
A lot of names were anybody that's kind of like featured on the show currently, but Ginny, Flash Morgan Webster, Piper Niven, Dragunov, Isla Dawn, and a whole bunch of other male competitors. It's like 16 names. I didn't want to like put it all here.
It's so shocking that they're just now doing this. Well, what have you been doing for the past 2 years? These people, some of these people have been on for at least 2.5, 3 years at this point. When did NXT UK start up? Like the show was 2 years ago. The actual brand was like a year before that. So this is like 3 years that y'all have been just chilling, like not having anything. Like they could have just dipped off and you could have done anything. That's so crazy.
Right. And I guess they kind of just like had that freedom during that time where they can still do what is it? RPW, Progress, WXW and stuff like that. But since they're kind of not active, I guess this was like the perfect time to kind of just like benefit on that. So it is what it is.
Good for them.
Yeah, definitely. Get the bag. I know a lot of people are probably, a lot of people might be upset like, oh, now you can't use the name anymore when you leave. It is what it is. And honestly, I think Ginny might actually be like her real name.
That's bad. that's like when you were a kid, you used to think that was their real names. Like I used to think like if I was a kid, I would think Adam Cole was this nigga's real name. Like, oh wow, hey Adam, what Adam?
Yeah, Ginny's her real name. So if she leaves at some point and she can't use her real name, that's kind of crazy. Unless she does like a reverse Cody, where it's just like now she uses her full name.
Well, yeah. Well, just her last name, just add her last name. That would work too. I would just rather she just change the whole shit. I feel like the Rhodes last name only works when you're like a Flair or a Austin or like a Johnson. Like that's the only time that would work.
Yeah, but that's enough. Not much has really happened on NXT on the NXT side this week. But now we're gonna get into the AEW stuff, starting with Joey Janela coming into contact with somebody with COVID. Joey Janela and GCW ran a event called The Collective. Call it a super spreader event if you want, but this event, it was highly irresponsible. And I understand that wrestlers want to get their bag and want to get their money, but this is highly irresponsible. And then coming out of that event, wrestlers were just like, "Don't tell me to quarantine."
I missed that part. Who said not to quarantine?
Faya Jackson was one of the people that was just like, "We are grown folks. You can't tell us what to do. We'll quarantine if we want to."
Oh my god!
Now she may have quarantine, but the whole like, "Don't tell me what to do" when people are kind of just being concerned for your health and the well-being of others, it's kind of insane. And
Yeah.
now wrestler AJ Gray tested positive for COVID, and he was saying like, I didn't know I tested positive until I did the test, or like my results came back. And I was just like, that's kind of how it works.
That's
Yeah.
problematic. And here's the thing: like, just because you tested Monday, you could have had it throughout
Yeah,
that whole
before.
weekend. I think that he just completely did not understand what the hell or how this works. And I think that goes for a lot of these
Mhm.
wrestlers. Like, think about the amount of wrestlers that hang out together all within that area.
Mhm.
Think about how much that has spread throughout everything. Like, I believe Joey Janela's girlfriend works at NXT, and I believe that a couple other people there are friends. I think Adam Cole is back to quarantining himself because Britt Baker's been back on Dynamite lately, right? So
Mhm.
he hasn't shown up on NXT in a minute as well. So like there's so many people that come into contact with this, people that potentially have it, and I liked what John Moxley said. I believe it was, I don't know what podcast it was, but he said that he got his own hotel room, he got his own things, he was in and out. He didn't talk, he
Mhm.
didn't hang, he didn't chill, he was in and out. That's what you're supposed to do. You know damn well these people were going to go to the hotel and the restaurants and they were chilling and all that shit.
Oh, definitely. Because if you're even allowed to host a wrestling event this huge, I believe where was the collective? If it's Florida, there's nothing more to be said.
Yeah.
So of course they were out and about and stuff like that. And I'm just confused on how, like, why would you not take a test in advance, and if you test positive, you will pull yourself out? I understand the bag, but you know, you're putting people at risk, and that's pretty shitty. It was Indiana.
Oh, it looks like she deleted that quarantine tweet.
Hmm. I remember. I'm not crazy, people. I remember
Well,
what I saw.
me and Mills talked about this at length on the A show this week, and we really just feel as though this was just so ill-advised. And the thing is, you knew when you saw George Janela's tweet talking about, oh, we had football length distancing and all this other stuff, and I was
And
like,
and then you see gifs of the show, and then you see people who are like 2 seats apart.
yeah, no
They're
mask.
brawling. They're brawling in the outside. For Bloodsport, they had like more than like 8 people in the ring at once with John Moxley as well. And I'm surprised he's not quarantined, but it is what it is. Actually, he wasn't on the show this week, so
He was on the show a week ago, or
yeah.
2 weeks ago, it looks like. Um,
So insane.
it's I'll say the same thing here I said there. I understand you got to get the bag, but please protect yourself.
Hmm.
Please stay like. And the thing is, if WWE and AEW are having their own issues with quarantining, you think indie promotions are going to be any better than that? Hell no.
Because they don't have the money for that.
And AEW's only be getting outbreaks because of people they've been letting do outside booking. So like, no one here is clean. They need to all stop this. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and if you thought WWE was bad, though, it's the Wild West out there. So
Mhm.
it is what it is on that. Sonny Kiss replaces Joey Janela in the tournament, and I love Twitter's reaction when Joey Janela got pulled, and they're just like, "Please don't put Sonny Kiss in the match. Please don't put Sonny Kiss in the match." And then lo and behold, he was right, like instantly was put into the match. And
I thought it made sense.
yeah,
I guess we'll talk about it in the Dynamite review. But
yeah, he's his tag partner, so why the fuck not?
yeah.
But next topic is Cody says that the third hour of Dynamite will be coming soon. He says that it might not be a third hour of even though
Wrestling?
it's like even though it says it's not a third hour of Dynamite, it might not be on Dynamite. Like, so Dynamite it might not be 3 hours. They might do like something for an hour on a different day. And I'm just like,
that's a different show.
yeah, and I'm just like, so like, like, are you gonna put AEW Dark on television or not?
I honestly feel as though they should keep AEW Dark on YouTube.
Yeah, because it allows them to get away with putting 16 matches on the show.
Yeah, because and it allows a lot of people to get their checks. There's no commercials.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowed to see packages and stuff like that. Like I think it will honestly work better there, and they should use that last hour as kind of like remember like WWE Confidential and stuff like that, like using it
Mm-hmm.
to further storylines that aren't on TV and hype people for the show. Like I feel like they should really just have it not be a wrestling show. Because here's the thing, we wouldn't need like another like I don't understand why AEW is trying to squeeze in all these hours. I think the fact that people love it so much is because there is less content. There is less things to be upset about. With WWE, no one just picks one show to watch.
Yeah,
Everyone watches everything.
And everybody complains about like WWE being like 8 or 7 hours of content each week.
It's an investment. It's an investment, and AEW is considerably less of an investment. You don't have to watch Dark unless a Kenny Omega shows up. Yeah, like, or a Cody shows up, or somebody like that you've seen on the TV shows up.
And they're no longer doing that. And what you said about like doing a confidential sort of thing, that's what AEW Dark used to be. They used to have video packages on there. They used to do like, recaps of what happened on the show last week. But now in this quarantine era, they just want to squeeze in like a fuck ton of matches. And I understand that you kind of want to be like the good person or like, the good company and get a lot of these people paid, but less is a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember AEW way back when Shauna was first being featured on Dynamite, and then they gave her a package like the next week on Dark, just like background information on her. Let's get more of that.
Right.
Instead of just getting all these like throwaway enhancement talent that you'll, later on recruit or whatever. Let's stop it there. So whatever this third show is, hopefully it's what Dark used to be.
Yeah, we don't need more wrestling. We need the characters that you have that aren't getting time to have their own place to do interviews and stuff like that. That'd be fine.
Because people used to get really mad when Moxley or Kenny Omega would show up on Dark, but it was just like, that made you watch. And if it's not watch the full show, you at least watch that match. They should just bring it back. And then
bring it back.
Chris Jericho once again talks about his WWE tenure, but the interesting things that he said in this review, this podcast, which is the Chris Van Vliet,
Chris Van Vliet or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but he talks about wanting to change his theme music a lot. And I don't know why you would want to change the iconic Break the Walls theme, because he wanted to like have Fozzy do his theme like he did for New Japan, but he talks about developing his own character. And wait, before I get to the last point, writing stuff for AEW, and then talking about how scripted promos aren't great. More shots at kind of the WWE thing. But the interesting quotes here is where he says, WWE is a great place to work, but I grew out of it. So what are all these shots that's been done for the past year?
You had him talking with Andrew Yang as well this week, talking about a whole bunch of BS. And in this, it's like, here's the thing. He did change his theme music before. The King of My World theme, way back in Attitude, the Ruthless Aggression era. People didn't like it. It was bad. It was his heel theme. They didn't like it. It was terrible. Mm-hmm. Then the Fozzy thing, I understand, because WWE's not going to be paying Fozzy royalties for that shit. They're just not. I know how they do the theme songs and stuff like that. The artists who do theme songs for WWE get paid very, very little. That's why you see them do the Def Rebels and the CFOs, because they have all encompassing contracts with this company. So at the end of the day, that's whatever. But going at scripted promos, I get it, I understand it. But there are very few people that are actually in this wrestling industry that can actually talk without a scripted promo. You could probably name them with both your hands. I'd say KO, Sami Zayn's really good. I think Roman Reigns is very good.
Cena, of course.
Cena, of course, is very, very good. Adam Cole, I think, is very good. But actually, the thing is, I don't think Adam Cole is great at non-scripted promos. I think Adam Cole is great at delivering scripted promos. I think he's one of the guys that knows how to deliver a scripted promo and make it his own. So I can't call it with him, but I do think he's good on the mic. But again, there aren't many people that can do so. And looking at what he does right now at AEW, he doesn't really do a spectacular job non-scripted either. So I think that's funny.
Or the creative process in general. Like when I was reading this interview, seeing what Jericho does when he has full creative control, maybe it was good to have somebody say no. Because he also suggests like, break the walls down, like maybe have like a different version made by different artists. He mentions like Avenged Sevenfold, and I was just like, that might have cost some bread.
That was for sure going to cost bread. I mean, they've already done stuff for them. They probably was like, yo, we still don't even really get paid off the Punk deal. So like, fuck that shit. Listen, man, I know some people who cut music with them. It's a very tough contract to break. Again, they're a business. They're a company. Like there's very few concessions made for having fun in that way.
Yeah, and that's having fun is basically like what he truly wanted to do, because he also talks about like his sort of New Japan run and sort of trying to reinvent his character once again, and not having anybody to truly say no on that. You get terrible things like the terrible makeup, the pain maker, the fedora, the spike jacket. It is just kind of crazy, when you don't have anybody to truly rein back on those ideas. And I know a lot of people talk about Vince being this like almighty, like shut down all ideas kind of thing, but it's just like bouncing back between like ideas with somebody that isn't an ass kisser. Maybe it's for the best. Like, having a yes man isn't always like,
And the thing with Jericho is, I'll admit, sometimes a lot of the stuff he does hit. Mm-hmm. It does hit, and it's easy. He knows how to speak to his demographic. No pun intended. But at the end of the day, sometimes it doesn't hit, and when it doesn't hit, you
get some shit like that's on this show. But with that said, we're gonna transition into AEW.
In singles competition as well.
Oh, what a knee got right in there.
The Trigger City man, he got him.
And now Kenny, one-winged angel,
oh
one,
my God.
Two. Oh my God. Kenny.
The winner of this match advancing in the tournament, Kenny Omega.
Somebody is
danced. Woof.
I like to call this AEW clockwork. I think we're back like it was a year ago, the Elite are beating people. Jungle Boy gets clapped and Britt Baker is back. And there's some other things, but basically like this is the usual AEW show. And I don't think anybody truly gives AEW much criticism. But the major thing on this show are the 4 tournament matches that took place. I think 2 of them are good, and 1 of them are truly overrated, and then 1 of them is just outright not great.
I like the squash, but yeah, keep going.
You like let's get into that. I was gonna start. It's the first one listed anyway. Omega versus Sonny Kiss, who is replacing Joey Janela. You liked it? Because I didn't.
Why didn't you like it?
I didn't like it because people are saying that the cleaner is back.
Right.
The cleaner has never had squash matches like these.
That is true. The cleaner, that match would have been about 25 if it was New Japan.
And that's what the cleaner is not back until I see a good 25 or 30-minute match between him and,
How about we don't do a 25-minute Kenny Omega match?
That's the cleaner.
Okay.
That
Okay,
is the
that's
cleaner.
fair. That's fair. That's fair. I think that the one thing I didn't like about the match, I do not like this guy's intro. He does not look cooler at all.
Oh,
He looks more like a dork.
the women at least 35 feet away from him holding brooms. That's not cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really weird. I didn't like the music. I did like Justin Roberts, which it shocked me watching this. I was like, I mean, didn't he have his own speaking out controversy?
Yes.
Oh, wow, interesting. No one mentions that, right? But so he had a pretty whatever entrance, but I thought that if this is his new character, maybe it's this, Cyrus. Maybe he's doing what he thinks he should be doing as the cleaner, but it's really just kind of upping the heel more. Like he's like delusional about really what it was that the fans wanted, and he's playing sarcastically what he thinks that the fans want to see. And maybe that's what he's doing.
I do like the thought of that, and I thought
because the point is you should be saying that. Like, you're absolutely right, Cyrus. That's not the cleaner. That's what they want us to be saying. They're like, yo, that's not really what he used to do. He used to give people a chance. He used to try and because the thing is, another thing I didn't like is that there was two moves in the match, and I felt as though it was not deliberate as to if that was a cheap shot or not, because that was meant to be a cheap shot. The V trigger was meant to be a cheap shot, but either it wasn't sold correctly, or there was just a timing issue, or they maybe should have I guess they were just off, right? But the move was a cheap shot, and that's not what the cleaner does.
Yeah. When you put it like that, I am definitely more open to it, but not saying I hate it because my fantasy booking wasn't done right. But if Kenny Omega is going to turn into this sort of like delusional character and possibly needs guidance, maybe there is a cult that kind of needs somebody to up their, sort of, stature on the card now that Brody Lee no longer has a championship.
If he joins the Dark Order, I swear to God.
When I say it out loud, it sounds okay.
No, bro. No. But the thing is, I can definitely see him having his own freaking stable at this point, which... what do you think they're going with Kenny now? Is he going to be a top heel, or is it just he's just going to be another heel? Because the thing is, he was never the top face. And now, from looking at the show, he's for damn sure not the top heel. So what's going on?
I'm not going to look that far ahead.
Okay.
Because AEW is very weird in their booking. So right now, I just think that this is going to lead to the Hangman and Kenny match. And then they'll write it from there. I always felt like this whole tournament was always just going to be something to prolong the Kenny Omega and Hangman Page match. That's most likely going to happen at Full Gear November 7th. But I'm not going to think that far ahead as of right now, because I'm sure they haven't truly even written that yet. But the next match that we have is Hangman Page versus Colt Cabana. If you heard this show many times before, I'm not a fan of Colt Cabana. I don't know why they're still giving this guy, so much TV time when it could literally be given to anybody else. I like Hangman Page a lot, but he cannot make me care about Colt Cabana.
No. It was a nice showcase match for Page. We knew that the victor was never in doubt, and maybe that's why they chose Colt, because he can kind of not create doubt, but have a pretty good match where he's selling a lot and kind of create some type of doubt, even though there might not have been any. But I do feel as though this was not the best. I'm trying to be nice. This was not the best match.
I'm just not a big fan of Colt Cabana. I just truly never been. So when he got signed to AEW, I was just like, oh, fuck. Why? Next, what I felt was the best match on the show, Pentagon versus Phoenix, which is, I thought at first that, this is like very Lucha Underground match. Like they probably like had this match many times in the past with them being part of PWG. And once I saw the Canadian Destroyer, I was just like, yeah, they're going full PWG.
Yeah, I said it in my notes. I said, turning back the hands of time. They have done this thousands of times before. It is always good, and this was like this was no difference. This was not a change. They had a great match. I mean, there's a sense of familiarity there. Of course, they're doing, again, like AEW loves to do, fan favorite matches. Like this is a match that fans have wanted to see on national TV. Like this is like the WCW cruiserweight moment for them, you know, where they were able to show off all the crazy stuff that they couldn't do on network TV before on Lucha Underground, and they do it here. And I thought for it being, you know, brother versus brother, there was a lot of desperation, a lot of you know, effort here from both guys. And I'll agree it was definitely the best of all of the qualifying, or not the qualifying, but the tournament round matches on the show. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. Phoenix wins, but
I was shocked at that. Were you shocked at that? If Phoenix
no.
won? Okay.
When because they already did Kenny Omega and Pentagon Jr. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't truly surprised that
that's one of the most overrated matches of the last 2 or 3 years.
Boy, is it! It just didn't deliver at all, and I was all for it, and it just didn't deliver. And then I also think that that Marty Scurll and Okada match was like even worse.
That was not a good pay-per-view,
and that was like the downfall of Marty Scurll.
I haven't seen that motherfucker since.
That motherfucker said, "Yeah, I'm gonna go 30," which resulted in Rey Mysterio only going like 7 minutes, and I know they gave that motherfucker the bag.
They won.
Man.
Ray went dummy style in that match. Like, he was like, let me get all my shit off, and then the show ended.
Insane. But Phoenix injured his neck.
Yes, he was knocked very, very loopy in the match, and I thought it was interesting that they did not stop. There were 2 instances on the show, and they did not stop the show. But
we'll get to that. So I don't know if Kenny gets a bye. I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they might just run with the
squash.
Pentagon. No, Pentagon and Omega. Oh, you know what? They could do a squash again.
Yeah, they could do a squash. Just have them squash. Phoenix.
Yeah, and it will make sense. I mean, if Phoenix is out, like out, can't perform out, throw Pentagon in, do the squash, let Kenny move forward.
Yeah, I'm actually with the squash too. I think you continue to do that. Continue to be like, hey, is this what y'all motherfuckers wanted? This is the cleaner that y'all was asking for, you know. So. I would love it if they did that twist to his character, but you know, I mean, I think we know what the finals are going to be.
Yeah,
I don't think it's tough to see or realize what that's going to be, but just make it not try and make it not obvious. You know what I mean? Like
they're truly not. But The final match of the 4 is Wardlow versus Jungle Boy. Y'all know how I feel about Jungle Boy, and it turns for Wardlow. I don't see what y'all guys are seeing anymore.
Another buff white dude.
I'm not seeing it anymore.
Why do they hate him but not Braun? Why do they love him but hate Braun Strowman? They're like the same motherfucker to me.
Truly, just the same dude. Like, I don't get it anymore. I thought the match with Luchasaurus was cool, but he's just Jeff Cobb light, and I'm not even a big fan of Jeff Cobb like that.
Oh yuck! Jeff Cobb who had one show and then did
they're trying so hard to rebuild that bridge that the Elite burned by bringing Jeff Cobb over. And as far as Jungle Boy, I know he's young. I know there's room to grow. When he grows, I will be here. I will be there and say that I like where this is going. But as of right now, he's just another person that can take L's because he's super young, and it is what it is. some women stuff, just a little bit. Britt Baker's back, and she needs to win that damn belt. I've been saying it for weeks. She needs to win that belt because Hikaru Shida is truly not doing it for me, and I don't think she's doing it for a lot of people anymore. Especially the way that AEW has been booking her to just.
I hope they got something. I hope they got something for Britt when she gets that belt because she's been doing so well in the chase that when she finally gets it, I really, really pray she can keep that momentum up because they gotta have challengers lined up for her when she gets that belt because right now she's killing it without it to a point where I'm like, do she really need it?
She doesn't, but it looks weird that she doesn't have it.
I just feel like she's off the belt as far as being the most entertaining on the thing on the show. I thought she was great on the show. I think she's definitely one of my favorite like promos and just characters on AEW right now. To a point where it's just like, she gets the belt, then she's got to start like they got to have a new
has to lose.
Yeah, when not has to lose, but like there has to be a new twist that keeps her interesting with the belt. And I think that's the struggle they have on AEW is that they have a baby face right now that's not interesting, a heel that's interesting, but doesn't have the belt. So like the heel doesn't really need the belt to me if she can still just be doing the same thing she's been doing. Like Britt Baker can't get the belt and keep doing the same thing she's doing right now.
Yeah, definitely. All I can truly see with her having the belt is she will have challengers lined up. Chris Statlander says she will be back soon. I'm not watching Dark, but I hope Nyla Rose is getting wins so she could possibly be a number one contender at some point. Big Swole. Right? Huh?
She's a heel, though.
Yeah. Well, shit, fuck it. Who cares? Big Swole does have that win over her, but the rankings are so important, they might not mention that. But yeah, that's about it. I'm not sure. Because they do have a lot of women, but they're all on Dark and they're all get squashed. So I don't know if they're truly going to give anybody that shot. Like, I don't think Red Velvet is truly going to be the next big baby face that comes out of AEW. Riho's not coming back. She's signed with Stardom. So I don't know what they...
Oh, Riho said, fuck out of here?
The bag talks over here, baby.
Yeah, Riho said, fuck out of here. I'm out. Y'all didn't know what to do with me when I was here. That's crazy. They
really didn't.
Y'all boy Green.
Next, we have Taz doing another promo that gets his team nowhere. He's just there to fill for time. And I'm just like, what are they doing with Brian Cage and Ricky Starks? Because they come out every week. They win matches. Ricky Starks is, I think, Taz said he won 9 of his 10 matches and he has gotten nothing, but Darby Allin comes back and gets a lot. That says a lot about the rankings in AEW and how they feel about Team Taz.
He should be going for Moxley.
Oh, boy, should he. But guess what? It don't matter because for some reason he's not in that tournament, which he should be in. Yikes. And they're kind of just focused. With Darby Allin and Will Hobbs, who was once again absent. He's losing momentum.
Oh, he had Tony. He has Steve-O there though, so it doesn't matter.
Why is Steve-O there, man?
I gotta get internet points, bro. Internet points. That's why.
I guess, but like right now, I don't know what they're doing with Team Taz. Brian Cage still has that FTW title that truly means nothing.
I was told it meant a lot. Well, guess not.
It's kind of crazy where Taz says Brian Cage was given nothing, but they had a whole segment where he's awarded a championship that doesn't matter. So let's do something with them or not have them featured on the show so much. Like, I just feel like it's a kind of just a waste of time at this point. And Will Hobbs getting all the praise from the internet, and fans, and he's just not on the show anymore.
Yeah, he's not. I heard a lot about this kid. He wasn't on the show, so
he was side by side with Moxley and Darby Allin. He loses to Brian Cage. Now, no, I think he beat Brian Cage. I'm unsure, but Darby Allin comes out and then just like steals his spotlight, and now he's nowhere to be found. Hopefully,
More
he
white,
didn't come in contact with anybody.
more white folk. That's all I gotta say.
I don't see Darby Allin having that championship ever, so I think they need to stop or slow it down.
My thing is like you can do a lot of potential.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But like, where are they taking these people to? Where are the stories still going? Like, I do think Taz is a good talker. Ricky Starks, he looks like a dweeb to me, but like Brian Cage looks like a bigger dweeb with that little ass belt on. But like again, like the segment was just like whatever. It was just like I feel like Taz is part of the show. He's the main part of this deal, and I wasn't too sold on Ricky Starks talking either. Like his promo,
where he flubbed his words.
Yeah, it was meh. Again, it goes with like there's people who can do unwritten, unscripted, and there's people who can't do it, and they need a little bit of coaching. And he might be one of those people that can do that. There's not everyone that can pull that off, and that proved it. And that also the Revival as well. So that'd be one of them.
And you know what? We'll get to that with the Young Bucks win the Fatal 4-Way tag match, and they'll be challenging the Revival for the AEW Championship. Finally, let's get the shit out of the way, and then we can finally move forward with the tag division and get other people some spots.
This match was a cluster. It was a pure clusterfuck. Obviously, you guys have already seen the headlines of what's the guy who got knocked out?
Alex Reynolds.
Yeah, Alex Reynolds got knocked out, and they're wrestling over basically a knocked out body. Somebody, I think Meltzer said, "Oh, he's fine." And I was like, "Okay, but did he get any type of impact testing? Is he like he was knocked completely out?"
He's fine because he got up on his own and walked out. Okay, so did Shibata.
Yeah, it was again irresponsible, and it happened twice on this show. As far as Fatal 4-Ways, it was about what you would expect, and I think like there was a level of measured chaos in the 6-man from NXT that was different from this one, where it was just like it was the Bucks who were on a different level than everyone else in this match. Let's just be clear, and then everyone else who was trying to catch up to them. And
and the Bucks were moving much faster than everybody else, and I feel like they tried to tone it back by just breaking up pinfalls. Like they broke up like a lot of pinfalls at the start of the match, and then towards the end they just kind of just like finished it. They're just like, yeah, we're done here, and then just smoked everybody. And they kept trying to play to like Private Party has beat the Bucks before. You'll never know. No, they're not going anywhere. So it's just weird. But hopefully after the Bucks and FTR feud, maybe we can see some other faces like rise to the top.
Well, let's just really talk about it. Like the Revival are in the same spot that they were in the WWE.
Yes, that's true.
And at the end of the day, they don't talk better. I mean, let's just be clear. They've been given the belts. They've been given the opportunity and the time. They've beaten a lot of people. They've been given the chance to do what they couldn't, I guess, do in the WWE. No weird gimmicks, no weird, outfits, whatever. And they just look like the same dudes. They're just the same guys. There's no doubting in my mind that they're great wrestlers. That's debatable, but when it comes to like putting together the matches, it don't work. That weird ass spot where with a Tully came out with a chair, we were supposed to think that it wasn't him. I was like, what the fuck was this? and it goes down the road of AEW being like two different shows to me. One of it is like a really deep South Southern wrestling promotion, and that was definitely a Southern wrestling segment. And then it's like this high flying modern, trying to be funny or die type shit. And that's what the MJF and Jericho thing was. And it was just like, it's just tonally different. And at least like with WWE, like, your mileage may vary with how much you enjoy the shows every single week, but it's like, at least maybe it's sterile to the point where it's like, okay, we know what we're giving, what we're getting. And with AEW, I just never know whenever I'm staring at this shit if I'm going to be getting Miro fighting over an arcade machine, or I'm going to be getting, somebody bleeding buckets at 9:59. So it's weird. It's just weird.
Does it matter? All right, the bleeding buckets. Does it truly matter what time it is? I just feel like if you're bleeding on the weekly television show, that's a bit much.
Yeah.
Like,
They set up the weird Southern wrestling. Gotta break his ankle spot. So, what was it? Was it Matt?
Matt Jackson.
So like,
who's gonna be selling his back?
Thank you, bro. Like, it's like
Matt
always has to sell, bro. It's like, again, we know what this match is gonna be. That match doesn't have a time limit, right? I think I heard someone say like their match isn't gonna have a time limit or something like that.
Oh, word? Hold on, let me double check that real fast.
Or was I reading something else?
Young, but I think that might have been the Moxley and Eddie Kingston match. That is an I Quit match.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Which that should be cool, I guess. But to talk about the champions on the show, FTR, they kind of just don't do it for me because I'm just not a big tag team wrestler guy or like tag team wrestling guy at this point. I feel like I'm just going to come with terms with that, and I think that that's primarily why I don't enjoy AEW as much as everybody else that truly loves tag team wrestling. But when FTR loses these titles, what is next for them?
They're going to start doing joke angles that people are going to love now, even though they didn't like it when they were doing it in the E.
When they're not featured on the show constantly, what's going to happen? When they put newer talent over or feature more newer talent on the show and they kind of scale back on using them. Is that when the shots come in?
Mm-hmm.
And I could say the same for Moxley as well. When he's not being used on the show, which I would think that would be a true disservice to them in general. But like when Moxley no longer has that title, what is next for Moxley?
Who knows?
Nobody sees Moxley fucking around on the mid card.
Maybe a break?
But a break and then what? He comes back and then messes around on the mid card?
He'll get the TNT title.
That's
the title to have. That's what Cody said. That's the title everybody wants.
So that's why whenever I do predictions for AEW pay-per-views is always just like, but what's going to happen next? You know, like we can focus on the show and be like, I want this person to win. I want this person to win, which is mostly how I do my predictions for most WWE shows. But with AEW, it's just like, what happens next on the show? Because it seems like they're writing it on a pay-per-view to pay-per-view.
This is way longer. We're going way long on AEW. I never wanted to talk about this show. Just to be clear.
Well, we're gonna do the final segment. MJF versus MJF with the Chris Jericho thing that is gonna lead into a town hall discussion if MJF should be part of the inner circle. But I think it was Santana last week who said, "We don't want you. We don't like you." So what is there to talk about?
This is what MJF is doing now?
The biggest heel truly eating dick to join a team that he truly doesn't have to join.
Again, Jericho writing these things and him leeching off of the hot new guys. And then after he's done with them, like, where's Orange Cassidy?
He got his ass kicked by Brody Lee. They got his ass kicked by Cody.
Where's Pineapple Pete? Where's all these other people that he was supposed to be getting over?
Pineapple Pete with the real team.
It's so weird how, like, again, like the elite are the orbit, and like what happens to the show when one of these five guys are not in the orbit anymore?
Yes.
Like what happens to this show? Because I feel like a lot of the people that they've been building, other than like, and again, do you really think Eddie Kingston's beating Moxley? Fuck no. Because you know who's gonna win? You know, I think you know who I think is gonna win the fucking the tournament is Kenny Omega, and we're gonna get that match again. That's where it's leading.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be any weird death match. It's gonna be Kenny back to the cleaner beating the hell out of Moxley.
Yeah, it's and that'll be I would imagine that we're not gonna see that title change until the top of the new year. So Moxley's gonna have that title for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it probably slows shit down, but like that's what it's looking like. He's beating everyone. That's what, like you said, where does he go?
Yes, and that's truly the discussion here. And for as far as the whole singing dance number or whatever, once again, this to me just feels like a bad improv segment. And based off what Jericho said on the podcast, it is the singing and dancing thing. You motherfuckers can't be serious. You motherfuckers can't be serious.
That's for them. That's for them. I can't.
Like Rick Ross said.
That's for them, but that's Rachel. That's Rachel. I don't have much. I like, people will enjoy it, people will hate it.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. You know, it was again. Here we go. Somebody drive. This is why I hate my neighborhood. More people.
You need to go out to the suburbs, bro.
I tell my fiance this. Like, it ruins everything.
I think it's because she's not there currently to experience the chaos that happens around in the neighborhood. She's just like, it's whatever.
But actually, that was the AEW. That's the time up. That's the there we go.
Actually.
Wrap it up. That's the AEW wrap up right.
Behind the official. The official did not see the low blow from Danny Burch. Burch now hoisting up Breeze into the hands of Morgan. Breeze drops center of the ring.
This is chaos.
Championships on the line. We have new tag team champions.
Yeah, so we're gonna go into NXT. Fairly lengthy on AEW, but you know, I know people appreciate it. NXT match heavy. Got a lot of good matches here, not a lot of segments, and I felt like a lot of the segments that were here worked. The Johnny Gargano and Candice practicing spinning the wheel was really good. What is it? Cameron Grimes and Loomis. They're gonna have their Haunted House of Horrors match.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I absolutely can't wait for that. The little segment which Timothy Thatcher training his student live. I thought it was really cool that they transitioned it into live. It was looking spooky when dude tried to turn up on him.
Yeah.
I was just like, hey man.
It was like the Daniel Pewter. I don't know if you've seen the Daniel Pewter. Kurt
where he went crazy on Kurt Angle.
Yeah, it reminded me of that a little bit, and I thought it was a cool throwback to that. I think it was pretty dope. But again, like I don't mind Thatcher having this type of stuff, but like do something with him. Like you had him lose, the U.S., the North American title, or lose his shots to do that multiple times. I'm just wondering what his long-term idea is, because this is a show that seems like they do have plans for characters on the show, and it does feel like it is a environment and an ecosystem there, like more so than it has all year, where things just kind of got thrown at the wall. You have established feuds now. You have established things that are going into it, and I think it sucks that not many people watch the show. Because they're actually doing some really cool stuff with a lot of the characters. But I've honestly enjoyed NXT for the past month now.
Yes, NXT has been really enjoyable so far. I question a lot of things, not like negatively. I'm just like, where does it go from there? Just curious and speculating and stuff like that. But I think this episode of NXT was very good.
Yeah.
Especially with it just being match heavy and then the cool reveal at the end. But we're going to start out with the first match on the show, which was Dream, Ciampa, and Kushida. And I currently think that they're just really buying time for Finn, because I think Kushida very much is next up, but they don't want to make Kushida feel like he is stagnant again. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good read into that. I really honestly think Kushida should win the North American title from
Priest.
Yeah, I really do think that if you're gonna have him go that route, because that's the one guy who has not beaten Kushida yet, and I think he was one of the guys in that ladder match. So I would have him go through those people first before he gets up to Finn, because the thing is, it looks like Karrion Kross is going to be back very soon. And you don't want to just toss the belt or toss, Finn. Like if you can have Finn rest and then have him come back, and then have Karrion come back. But here's the thing: Finn getting injured completely screeches the title reign to a halt from whatever they were trying to do. So it's going to be really silly.
They definitely don't want to have that title vacated again.
Exactly. So it's going to look really silly when you have Karrion Kross come back and Finn come back, and neither of these guys can take a loss right now. So I'm very interested in seeing what they do. And a lot of people say, they should just move Karrion up. And I'm like, it doesn't seem like the main roster is even looking into the direction of NXT right now. And I think that is completely fine. NXT needs to establish some guys and get them up to a point where they're undisputed era level. Like, we all want them to leave, but there's no room for these guys on these shows right now. Like, it would just, I think it would hurt them more than anything. Show.
On the show, I will say I'm kind of tired of saying, like, call these guys up, and then they're still there for like 4 months, So at this point, it's just like, do something with them, But next, I thought that when Austin Theory came out, it was just like, all right, roll the dice, who gonna kick his ass? And my dice landed on Tim Thatcher. I thought Tim Thatcher was gonna come out and beat his ass this week, but it was Bronson Reed, and he smoked his ass twice.
Yeah, that they have been. It's been interesting, the booking of all of the speaking out guys, right?
Get their ass kicked.
Well, the thing with Kushida and Dream is that it looked as though Dream helped him at the end and was cheering for Kushida to win. Did you notice that?
Oh, no. I'll have to watch it back.
Yeah, I
didn't notice that.
He was tapping his wrist like Kushida does for his taunt, and then he because Dream hit him on the head and then just went to go sit back down. He was clearly okay. He was, and he let Kushida beat him. So it's looking like they're spinning off to Ciampa. Dream in a mid-card feud of two guys I don't give a shit about. That's cool. We're cool with that. That means that I know what to skip. But Bronson Reed comes out. He hasn't been out for a while, and then he squashes Austin Theory twice. So it looks like Theory's going to be off TV too. So
Austin Theory quits after getting his ass smoked twice by Bronson Reed, and I'm just like, okay.
He needs a better. He needs a better gimmick. His gimmick is bad, and this is a setup for a joke. But he does need a better gimmick.
I definitely think when he comes back, I think the whole all day thing will possibly end because he can't go all day because he's quitting. So we'll see how that goes. And the next match is the 6-man. I tweeted before the show went on, I'm not too excited about the 6-man because I knew that AEW was going to beat me over the head with tag matches later. But this tag match really impressed, and coming out of it, I definitely think that it is no longer Santos versus Swerve. It is now Atlas versus Santos.
Yes, I dig that a lot. I think that, again, Santos is one of my favorite parts of NXT right now. I just think he has the look. He can talk. And this is another guy, again, we talked about it before, unscripted versus scripted. He makes the scripted sound unscripted. Makes it sound really good. I think that it was a really dope match. There was a lot of crazy stuff done. Like that wild looking Spanish fly over the top into everybody. It was like completely insane looking. But again, it was action packed enough and not filled with rest holes to a point where we're like, I don't want to watch this anymore. It was actually action packed.
It was a quick sprint. I don't think it went very long, like one commercial break. It was great, and I'm looking forward to Atlas getting his title match.
Who do you think beats him? Because now NXT is 205 Live as well. So 205 Live is another show. So there are characters there that are in the contention that I was forgetting that.
I'm not thinking about who beats Santos until he has his match with Jordan Devlin, beats him, and then I'll think about who he'll end up losing the title to. I don't want to think too far ahead. And then we just have to see if Jordan Devlin can even come to the US. Which
I'm pretty sure they'll make it over there. There are people going overseas right now. The thing is that Florida is you're banned. I think you're banned to going. I think it's either getting there or going there from Europe. So it might be one of the two.
Mm.
They might have to have that motherfucker fly into another state and then drive down.
Just let him go to Boston and then fly down. Yeah, that would work. But as of right now, I don't think anybody's truly going to be Santos until they wrap up that loose end. Next, for the main event, we're going to talk about a lot of things that led up to it. The main event that was supposed to be Undisputed Era versus Breezango, but slowly throughout the show, a lot of Undisputed Era has been taken out. And when Bobby Fish got quote unquote hurt, I was just like, all right, is this old nigga hurt or is it actually an angle this time? And it turns out, I think this is actually it actually just is an angle this time. Then later on the show, Roger Strong also gets beat up. And then Kyle O'Reilly just kind of gifts the number one contender spot to Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch or the Brit Am Brawlers or 1-2 Punch, whatever the hell these niggas are called. And they have a good match.
It was good. I thought it was the weakest match on the show. Well, I mean, they give Austin Theory way too much time, but it was probably the second weakest match on the show. Mm-hmm. With a shocking ending. There was a guy who showed up in a Cobra Commander mask and tossed Fandango off the top rope.
Who's the guy from Watchmen? Looking Glass, I think that's his name.
Yeah, Looking Glass. That's the guy. I didn't even think that. As soon as I saw him, I thought Cobra Commander. So again, I'm telling my age.
But yes, Pat McAfee is back. Everybody hated him, but he is he's the guy that's been paying to get revenge on the Undisputed Era, and I think it works.
Yeah, I think it hit a lot. It would have hit a lot more potently if Ridge Holland was still around, obviously, but. Mm-hmm. I still think this works. I didn't see it coming at all. And, I stay away from NXT spoilers, until I watch it. I literally only have my notification tab on. But Pat McAfee coming back and being the one that helped them, and his subsequent promo afterwards that they put on YouTube after, I thought really sealed the deal here. They got to find one more guy there for this to work.
So they could run War Games?
Yeah, they got to find one more guy. I think it's wild that Pat could potentially be doing this, but...
All right, but does War Games have to be 8 men? They can scale it back to 6.
Nah, who will be left out on Undisputed?
Cole, because I think the rib injury might be legit, unless they just have him come in with.
Cole got beef with McAfee though, for real beef though, like that. Like,
okay, yeah, so he has to be a part, or maybe they just let them do it, and then, well, would we want to see another match between, like another singles match between McAfee and Cole? Like, I don't think that would hit again.
I think we got what we needed to see from them. I think McAfee probably works a lot best in the plunder match like this, where he could have weapons and shit like that. So I think that will work for him if we're going to book all the way to, it's looking like December, honestly, for our War Games. But, looking at the roster for NXT, looking at the people that Undisputed Era have beat up, who jumps out to me, and that's Austin Theory. Mm-hmm. Being that fourth guy.
Well,
I don't think it's like the best decision, but that looks to me like there's a guy on TV that he could go right now.
Yeah. But I'm just curious how Pat McAfee will bribe him into wrestling again.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. That's NXT, and we are going fairly long, so we're going to just go right into predictions for the Halloween horror match. And before we get into the Priest and EO match, let's get into the costume contest between Wade Barrett and Vic Joseph.
That's gonna be funny. He just needs to come out in his Nexus gear.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
Come on, his Nexus gear.
That'd be hard. That'd be hard. I like that. I was joking, but that is a really great idea. We have Grimes and Loomis in their Haunted House of Horrors match. I don't know what the hell that's gonna be, but who do you think wins coming out of this? It has to be Loomis, right?
I think that Cameron Grimes is probably one of my favorite guys on this roster right now. Mm-hmm. He's been asking for it though, so he probably does deserve to lose this. I'm gonna go wild and say that I think he wins this match because they're setting him up for something, man. They really are. I don't think that him and Damian aren't done yet, and I think that's why the actual North American title picture is so clogged because
Finn's out.
Yeah, Finn's out, but you also have so many people that could go for this one belt. So it's like I'm actually shocked they haven't even stuck Cameron in a tag team yet. You know, because it's literally like that's something I could because these guys got to start getting some accolades under the belt, you know, so to speak. So I think these two do have a feud, but again, like I say Cameron wins because Dexter can take a loss right now, especially in a no crowd era, and it won't hurt him at all. Okay, and I think he could still come back the next week and still be the same guy. I think Cameron Grimes gets by the skin of his teeth, but I do think that he survives. He doesn't win.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that happen. Getting by the skin of his teeth. But now we have Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez. I don't know. They're truly prolonging the match between her and Io, but after this match, it has to be it, right?
Yeah.
I don't see Raquel winning this.
She's not going to win this, but this is going to be yet another. This is going to test Rhea's role as a ring general. She's been in the ring with Charlotte this year multiple times, been in the ring with Io. This is, she's one of the old guard, so to speak, or NXT now. But now it'll literally be like, okay, can she help put this person over now? And let's see what she can do.
Yeah, so we'll see when that how that match goes. Raquel is okay from what we've seen in these tag matches that she's been having over the couple of months. When she came out and bodied Xia Li and Team Ninja, I was just like, I guess, those are very small people, So maybe NXT should get like another like big woman. So like Raquel could have squashed her at some point, but it's too late now. But Rhea Ripley does have to come out scraping the win here.
Yeah, I'm actually, and I guess we'll talk about it, getting into the Io match. I'm interested in seeing where the women's division goes from there. Someone's got to turn, and someone's got to do something here because again, I don't see Io holding the title much longer, but I also don't see her losing it very soon or as soon as War Games.
I currently don't see anybody taking it off her that isn't Rhea Ripley, but We'll get into Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest for the North American Championship, and they'll have to spin the wheel and make a deal. Now, there are a lot of possible stipulations.
Yeah.
Have you have you seen all the stipulations?
Not all of them. I know Johnny went through some of them. There have been like there was like a TLS match.
Yeah, table ladders and scares, which I was wilding when I said scaffolding last week.
I was like, what? I know Johnny, you're not that crazy, bro.
That is the only thing that I know that's in wrestling that starts with an S. So I just went from there. But I just texted you all the stipulations that could possibly be chose.
I see. If they're kayfabe in this Bikers Chain match, if they're kayfabe in this,
I will go with Shassi's Choice, whatever that may be.
I would expect Shassi's Choice for the women's match.
I'm truly expecting like a street fight because Candice did say she's undefeated in it, So I think it might be a time to break that streak.
Yeah. I think for Johnny and Damian, it's either a Bikers Chain match, or if they really want to go wild with it, because they're already going to have a cinematic match from what I'm guessing for Cameron Grimes and Dexter Loomis. So I would say a blindfold match or a Bikers Chain match for these two, if they're going to kayfabe it.
Okay. Who wins coming out of this?
Oh, Damian Priest.
It has to be Priest.
You gotta give him another good win to go into. Again, NXT, there's a lot of... Are they wrapping us up again? It's like people just love to drive their stupidly expensive cars.
Very fast and loud.
It's ridiculous. I can see those two happening. And I think that, again, Damian Priest, it's very open in the North American title scene who it could be next. I really just don't know who it would be for him, honestly.
Yeah, with Thatcher taking a lot of losses, I'm just like, I don't know what the hell's going on. And Priest is beating everybody else.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Where they go after Halloween Horror, God knows. But now possible main event. I don't know. They just have it listed like this. Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai for the women's match. Candice has to spin the wheel and make a deal. I went with Shotzi's choice. What do you think it will be?
I'll say Shotzi's choice. I think that, again, this is comeuppance for the Garganos next week. This is the big revenge, the big payback for these two for being so annoying all year. I could see a street fight, but Shotzi might pick something completely wild that is not labeled on this wheel. So I would definitely want that to happen.
Which is just like, it may not be on this wheel, but what the fuck is most of these matches? Like, what is Devil's Playground?
I have no clue. She could pick that one because we don't know, So
yeah,
I have no clue, but I think, again, it's also good to have Io do different types of matches just to kind of solidify her streak as far as like top women of the year. She's quietly top 3. Let's just be clear here. She quietly had a really great year.
She's not like featured weekly on NXT like a lot of the champions on the main roster are, but I think using her sparingly is working to her advantage.
Right. Well, because even though she's featured not as regularly, her matchups are less stale in a lot of ways. So, we'll see what comes out of the Hell in a Cell match with Bayley and Sasha this week, because I think those are, you got one of the most undisputed, I think, Bayley's running away with it right now. But again, it's definitely, we'll see what comes out of that and see how Io can top that.
Yeah. I just remembered my theory that I thought of, and I think I may have tweeted it, but Candice LeRae did say she's undefeated in a street fight, right? Yeah. What if Indy Hartwell rigs the wheel so it is a street fight?
That would be funny.
I think that would be hard.
There is an off chance that Indy Hartwell gets involved in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if this will cause I don't know if we're seeing a title change next week. I think the gimmick is the gimmicks and not the title change, or the possibility of a title change. So I wouldn't expect that. Yeah,
Pete. We all wanted Halloween Havoc. We're gonna get it, but I don't think this is actually like a pay-per-view. I just think this is just a special version of the show. So nothing crazy. But that's it for NXT, and that's it for us. We went fairly long. I know you have things to do.
We're talking about skateboarding. It's because we're talking about skateboarding. But I gotta bounce. I got late fees in an hour. So we're moving. We're moving.
So late fees this week is going to be the Saw franchise, right?
Yes, Saw. It will be Saw. I've watched every one of the movies. I think Pat has seen a large part of them. We got Eric to finally watch a full.
His reviews has been the best.
Oh my God, it's like pulling teeth to get this guy to do it.
He's so dramatic.
So dramatic about this, but we have a special guest. We have 2 special guests on the show. The host of Girl That's Scary, that's Kat and Jazz. Kat is one of my homegirls. I've known her since college, and she's like a big horror fan, so it's going to be really, really fun. So check that out. Definitely, today. It's going to be out today, so.
Yeah, so check that out. A show, Spa Callers will be back.
Light up to endure. Light up to endure whatever
I don't got
AEW
no-
has planned next week.
You got some gas on you?
You know how you be. Oh,
The G Show, we're finished, but you can listen to all of that. Go on the RNC, the A Show RNC Twitter page, and you can find our recommendations of all the G1 matches that you should watch. The Rewriters Room, I don't
new
know
episode.
right
New episode
next week.
Mhm.
Okay. And then we have a whole bunch of other stuff on our other channels. To look out.
Well, hold on. You're bearing the lead. A Show third anniversary, 3-year anniversary is next week.
I haven't listened to the A Show yet. I didn't know.
Next week we got a huge all hot takes next week. It's going to be all hot takes. So we're going to put the link out and make sure you guys fill out your hot takes. We're going to have some special hot takes from some special people. It's going to be super huge. Forget them rest of them channels. We strictly A Show. It's all about the flagship. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the flagship. And me and you, we gotta record something too real soon. A little bit of Victory Road action. So get ready.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. But there will also be another ramen talk with me and Jamal. So there's a lot of stuff coming. So stay tuned for that, everybody. Peace out. Go vote. See y'all.